December 15th, 2025. The sun is high over the Mexican plateau. In the town of San Mateo Atenco, life is moving at its usual midday rhythm. Workers are finishing their shifts in the industrial district. Children are playing near the local soccer field, kicking up dust in the dry winter air. It is a Monday like any other. But 50 kilometers to the east in the bustling capital of Mexico City, air traffic controllers are tracking a small blip on their radar screens. Flight XA Pro, a Cessna Citation III. This isn't just a machine. It is a time capsule of memories. On board are 10 souls returning from a weekend in paradise. They are coming from Acapulco, the legendary resort city on the Pacific coast. For the passengers, a wealthy family spanning 3 generations, the flight is the final leg of a luxury vacation. There are grandparents, parents, and 3 young children aged 2, 4, and 9. Inside the cabin, the leather seats still smell of the ocean air they left behind just 30 minutes ago. The children are likely tired, perhaps sleeping in their parents' laps, unaware that they are flying through one of the most challenging aviation environments in the world. Up in the cockpit, the atmosphere is professional but tense. At the controls are 2 veterans of the sky, Captain Juan Carlos Olivares Casas, 61 years old, and his co-pilot, Walding Sanchez Manzano, 72 years old. Between them, they have decades of experience. They have flown thousands of hours. But experience does not grant immunity from the laws of physics. They are approaching Toluca International Airport. To the uninitiated, Toluca is just another airport. But to pilots, it is known as a hot and high challenge. It sits at an elevation of nearly 8,500 feet, one of the highest airports in North America. The air here is thin. It provides less lift for the wings and less oxygen for the engines. Flying here requires precision. Mistakes that are forgivable at sea level become fatal at this altitude. As the clock ticks towards 12:30 p.m., something on Flight XA Pro goes terribly wrong. The calm conversation in the cockpit is replaced by the blaring of alarms. The return from paradise is about to become a descent into hell. To understand the catastrophe that is about to unfold, we must first look at the machine itself. The Cessna Citation III, Model 650. Introduced in the 1980s, this aircraft was designed for speed and style. It is sleek, with a supercritical swept wing designed to slice through the air at high Mach numbers. But this design comes with a price. Swept wings are aerodynamically complex. At high speeds, they are efficient. But at low speeds, like during landing or an emergency maneuver, they can be unforgiving. If a pilot slows down too much, the airflow over the wing separates. This is called a stall. In a straight wing plane, a stall is usually gentle. The nose drops, and you recover. But in a swept-wing jet like the Citation, a stall can be vicious. One wing often stalls before the other, causing the plane to snap roll and enter a spin. And a spin in a jet is a death sentence if you don't have enough altitude to recover. Back in the cockpit of XA Pro, the pilots are fighting a losing battle. They are just 5 kilometers from the runway at Toluca, but they are too low. Maybe the engines are failing. Maybe there is a fuel issue. The exact cause is still a mystery, hidden in the twisted metal. But their actions suggest desperation. They realize they cannot make the airport. Below them lies the dense industrial sprawl of San Mateo Atenco. Rooftops, streets, power lines. But there, amidst the gray concrete, is a patch of green. A soccer field. It is a desperate target. A Hail Mary. Captain Casas likely spots it and banks the aircraft hard to align with the field. But in doing so, he demands too much from the dying aircraft. He pulls back on the yoke to stretch the glide. He turns tight to avoid the buildings. The angle of attack increases. The airspeed bleeds away. The thin air of Toluca offers no support. The Citation III shudders. The stick shaker activates, a mechanical vibration warning the pilots of doom. And then, the left wing simply stops flying. On the ground, Mr. Octavio Contreras is looking up. He expects to see a plane gliding. Instead, he sees a nightmare. The plane was spinning like a fan, he would later tell reporters. This is the terrifying visual signature of a flat spin. The aircraft is no longer flying forward. It is falling vertically, rotating around its center of gravity like a falling maple seed. Inside the cabin, the G-forces would be disorienting. The horizon spinning wildly in the windows. The terror of the passengers, the parents clutching their children, is something we can scarcely imagine. There is no recovery from a spin at this altitude. 500 feet. 300 feet. Gravity claims its prize. The soccer field was the goal, but physics decided otherwise. The Citation slams into the metal roof of a large warehouse adjacent to the field. It is not a sliding impact. It is a crushing vertical blow. The fuselage crumples. The wings, still laden with jet fuel for the return trip, rupture instantly. A massive fireball erupts from the warehouse. The sound of the explosion shakes the ground, rattling the windows of nearby trucks and homes. Thick, black smoke begins to billow upwards, a dark pillar marking the crash site against the blue sky. The silence that follows is broken only by the crackle of flames and the screams of witnesses running towards the scene. Within minutes, the tranquility of San Mateo Atenco is shattered by the wail of sirens. Firefighters, police, and the Civil Protection Agency rush to the industrial park. The scene is apocalyptic. The warehouse is gutted. The metal roof is torn open like a tin can. Inside, the wreckage of the jet is burning fiercely. Mayor Ana Muniz arrives on the scene and makes a critical decision. There are fuel tanks nearby, gas canisters. The risk of a secondary explosion is high. She orders the immediate evacuation of 130 people from the surrounding blocks. It is a race against time to contain the fire before it consumes the neighborhood. As the firefighters battle the blaze with foam and water, a grim reality sets in. They are looking for survivors, but the intensity of the crash suggests otherwise. Hours pass. The smoke clears. The wreckage cools down enough for the recovery teams to enter. One by one, they find them. 7 bodies are recovered initially, then the tragic confirmation of the total count. 10 souls. The list of victims is heartbreaking. 2 experienced pilots who fought to the end, and a family that was wiped out in an instant. The most painful discovery is the children. A 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 9-year-old. Their lives ended before they truly began. Amidst the tragedy, there is a small, bitter mercy. Coordinator Adrian Hernandez confirms that the warehouse was empty. It was a factory, but on this day, no workers were present. If the crash had happened on a weekday morning, the death toll on the ground could have been catastrophic. The plane missed the populated soccer field by meters and hit the one building that didn't have people in it. It is a miracle shadowed by grief. As the sun sets on December 15th, the investigation begins. The airspace is closed. The wreckage is cordoned off. Experts from the Mexican civil aviation authorities begin to piece together the puzzle. They look at the flight history. Data from flight radar reveals a pattern. The aircraft, XA Pro, had been busy. Multiple short hops in the days leading up to the crash. 3 flights on December 12th. 2 flights on December 1st. These short cycles put immense stress on an aircraft's systems, landing gear, brakes, and engines. Was there a lingering mechanical issue that was overlooked in the busy schedule? And then there is the human factor. The pilots were elderly men, 61 and 72. While experience is valuable, age can affect reaction times and physical stamina, especially in a high-stress emergency at high altitude. Did they suffer a medical event? Or did the complex aerodynamics of the Citation III simply outmatch them in the thin air of Toluca? The crash of Flight XA Pro is a stark reminder of the fragility of flight. A modern jet, flown by veterans carrying a wealthy family, can still fall from the sky. For the people of San Mateo Atenco, the image of the spinning plane will haunt their dreams. For the aviation community, it is another case study in the dangers of loss of control in flight. But for the family left behind, waiting at the arrivals gate in Toluca, it is a silence that will never be broken.